Hello, I am Claudia Luke. I'm the director of the Center for Environmental Inquiry at Sonoma State University and also a collaborator on the virtual field. So the virtual field is a network of field stations and marine laboratories all over the world who are creating virtual experiences so they can reach a broader audience. So this video is the second in a series of 5 videos on how to make an ecosystem exploration video and share it on the virtual field website. This is a companion instructional video to a 10-step worksheet. And to make sure that you have access to the 10-step worksheet, all you need to do is to click on Contribute Content. That will take you to this page. The first option is Ecosystem Exploration, and right here under Step 3 is an EE video worksheet. So you can just click on that. So in the previous video, we looked at Steps 1 and 2, and those were focused on choosing an ecosystem and identifying key types of evidence that you are in that ecosystem. What can you use? What features and processes actually characterize that ecosystem? In this video, we're going to be looking at steps 3 and 4 to choose a location to film and to practice and take the video. So let's look at step 3. Step 3 is choosing your location to film. So remember, you're going to be taking a 3-minute video. It's really important to keep these short. The video starts with an opening shot, which could be a wide angle or a panning shot, just letting your viewer know where they are. And then you're going to walk or swim through the habitat, and you're going to stop at 6 different points along the way, and at each site, take a closer, more detailed look at the kinds of evidence that you identified in step 2. And then finally, the end of the video is, again, a closing shot, which is just saying, okay, we've now arrived here, and it's just like the opening shot, some kind of long view or panning shot, something that makes sense for you. The easiest way to identify your filming location is to take your list of processes and evidence from step 2 into the field with you. So go to a location you're familiar with and spend some time there just looking at the list of evidence that you created and finding those kinds of evidence at one site. The important thing is that this is a short video, so you're going to need to find those 6 stops all within a distance of about 100 feet. Otherwise, you won't be able to create a 3-minute video. So you may want to take some pin flags with you if that helps you to just identify the different stops and how you want to plan out you're going to get from one point to the next. So some people have commented that I couldn't find evidence so close together. So if you're having trouble finding 6 kinds of evidence in a small area, here's some options. So one is, don't feel like you have to get all these different kinds of evidence and features and processes, that you listed. You could just choose one process and then show evidence for that process at 6 different steps. So perhaps it's adaptations for drought, then you might show different kinds of leaves or something along those lines. As a final resort, or I should say as a last resort, you can consider stopping the camera and starting up at a different location. We really don't like to do that because it doesn't make the viewer feel like they're actually there with you. Some people have just kept walking and then just sped up the walking section, so you feel like, and you go to the next site and take a closer look. But if you really need to cut your video and start up in another location, it is okay, but it's not as good as if you can avoid that. So finally, when you have your whole site, your idea for where these 6 different sites are, then we recommend you write it down. So at the bottom of this sheet, I'm scrolling down now, this is an example worksheet that I would use if I were about to go out and record. And on the left, we have the opening shot, all of the stops, and the closing shot. And first, I just put a reminder for me, just what works in my brain, like that pin flag idea, to identify where is it that I'm stopping. That's just for the videographer. And then what am I showing in that shot? That's the reminder. I'm going to show mycorrhizae grabbing onto sand particles by digging into the soil with my finger, something like that. Or I'm going to show a burrow. And then also the type of shot. Is it going to be a slow pan? Is it going to be mid-range? Is it going to be a close-up? Just identify what you're going to need to show. How far in do you have to go? What is it going to look like? And that's it for step 3. So the first thing you need to do is to gather your equipment. You're going to need a smartphone. But you're also going to need a stabilizer. So stabilizers are about $100, and if you've never seen one before, they look like this. They're a little handheld device that has a battery in the hand, and you just stick your iPhone in the little clamp, and what it does is it smooths everything out. So if you're walking along and your phone is bumping, it just makes it look like a nice, smooth shot. Also with panning, it doesn't allow you to pan too quickly. And both of these are critical because then the person viewing your video isn't going to get motion sickness. So definitely we now require that stabilizers are used when making these videos. And the third thing here that you might have to gather, if you're in a particularly windy environment, this happens to people a lot on beaches near the ocean, you're going to need to get something that will deal with that wind sound that comes in. You don't want to be blasting your viewers with a sense of the mechanics of wind running over the microphone. So fuzzy windscreens are something that you can buy. Let me just show you what one of those looks like. They can be this kind of like little windsock gray hat that just fits on top of one end of your smartphone. The other thing is you can do DIY. I've had the best success with just some polyfill fibers that come like out of a pillow. You just strap it on to the end of your smartphone with a rubber band. It was beautiful. I couldn't get it to make a bad sound. And also, there's another option here that you can see from people who've just bought some cheap hair curlers and used that to stick a hair curler on their phone over the end of where the microphone is. So gather those things together. The second thing you want to do is practice. So we do have some tips that are part of this instructional video that you can go take a look at from a professional photographer, and that's helpful. But you'll definitely need to learn to use the stabilizer, and the timestamp for the stabilizer is shown here, so you can look at that part of the instructional video. Also practice panning with the stabilizer. You don't want that image to do that herky-jerky thing as you pan. And then sound, double check that the wind isn't so strong that it's creating that fuzziness over your microphone. And the way to do this in practicing, really take the video and take a look at the video you just took and see what you think the quality is. The last thing you might want to practice here are close-ups. A lot of times we don't know how our camera reacts to a close-up. So we have to practice that. How close can you get to the thing that you're trying to show your audience? Okay, then the next step is you set up for filming. Get your equipment out. Second, set your camera on its highest resolution, and you can look at that at these timestamps around 3 to 4 minutes in the instructional video. Bring your windshield to attach it if it's needed. And the final thing that's really important to remember throughout all of this is always film in landscape. A lot of people want to film this way, but you need to film your video this way so that it'll fill up the entire screen. And that's it. You now have your shot list, and you now have all your equipment, and now you should go practice your shot in the field. Usually, I recommend that you just film it 3 or 4 times and pick the best one. Always reviewing each time so that you can learn. It's only 3 minutes. It won't take that long. So, opening shot, then you have those 6 stops, and then you have a resolution shot. And I think that's it. By the end of this time, you will have your video and you'll be ready to create some educational materials that go with it. See you in the next video.
Ecosystem exploration video.